Listen, friends of God.
Hey guys.
Hi. We're about to give you the video of your life. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
But the video kind of cut off our heads.
Yeah.
So we just want to first apologize about that before we even start. But this is our sign off because now we're about to go have some connect time.
So guys, actually yeah, like okay, sorry. I don't have no jokes. No, but okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We want you to forgive us for cutting off our heads. But
Okay.
also I want to say goodbye. Thank you, sticker.
Also, if anyone wants to donate a camera while we're here, please donate a camera.
No, if you're looking to be an editor, a video editor as well, we are looking for multiple services this
Exactly.
year as Friends Chat today as we see.
Bring your camera and record us and hang out with us.
Come, actually.
I don't know what's going on with me today. No, no language.
Just smiling in the corner.
Just smiling in the corner.
It's happiness, dude. It's what happiness does.
Okay, bye guys.
Thanks, friends. Bye.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome
back.
You know, like that.
I thought it was a rapper.
No.
Oh, like, you know,
For a second.
I'm not gonna rap. Hey guys, welcome back to
Hey,
friends. It's been
a minute.
forever.
It has.
Guys, we wanna apologize.
But no, but it was necessary, don't you think? Okay, maybe apologize first before we begin.
But I mean, yes, it was maybe, but like, life has been hectic and life has been hectic. But I think we could have been a bit more like open with you guys to say, hey, we're coming back on this date, and you know, just to keep you guys. But you guys are so loyal. You've stuck around. You've kept asking us.
Shout out.
Shout
All of you.
out
Shout out to everyone.
and your messages, yes. But we lost our camera. That was the first thing that happened. So I think that really just kind of threw us off, and kind of recalibrating and trying to get order for the year is kind of taken a while. But it's March. It's 1st of April. Wow.
It's the end of Q1.
Q2, we back.
So today what we're gonna just do is just catch you guys up a little bit with our lives. What's been going on since the last time? I think we spoke in November.
Yeah, November.
Since the last time we hung out with you guys. So a lot has happened since that time. And just want to catch you up with a few things that are going on. So,
If you want to hear anything from us today,
Stick around.
It's just something we both know. It's just something we both know. It's just something we both know.
what's been going on in your life?
What's been happening?
It's traveling the world.
Sounds global.
I'm going to Berlin. I need to tell you guys a story. So it happened, okay, I can't remember the day. It would be more interesting if I remember the day. But I look at my phone, wake up, look at my phone. Titi Dangaremba sent you an email. And I'm just like, hold up, wait. So Nurse's in the house and I'm like, okay, I just need a minute. And then I go back to my phone, again refresh my emails. Titi Dangaremba. Okay, so I open the email and basically in the email she's like, hey, I'd love for you to come to this writing festival in Berlin. We're going to pay for the flights and for the accommodation. It's an African lit festival there. And I'd really love for you to be part of the conversation. I was just like, should I reply as a groupie or as a mature writer?
A mature writer.
I did a bit of both. I was like, started off with, man, I'm not even going to lie, nervous condition changed my life. But thank you so much. So that's been incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of, which is a weird place, but a lot of feeling like this year is growing into the idea of being a writer and kind of being comfortable with, I'm going to hang out with some of the best writers in Africa for 4 days. And how do you not be a groupie? That's the question I'm asking.
Every time you go like, hi.
I just fear that I might be like, you know that line, what might mental state were you in when you wrote that line?
What are you trying to say?
Everyone else is cool at these things, so that's the hardest thing. So I'm always just like,
everyone's cool with these things though.
so they all seem cool. So I mean, at a Bantu book festival, she was there and she sat in on my session, which was really cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
But like when people talk to her, it's like they're speaking to a person, and I'm there like, when you started the book with this, what mental state were you in?
But you
So
can
that's
imagine
really
a lot of
cool.
people probably have also had to coach themselves into
Yeah.
being normal.
Yeah.
Because like right now you're like, yo, what I'm going to, but I'm sure now. But I wonder if anyone's actually fully normal. Because if you really all appreciate, if you appreciate everyone's work,
Exactly.
you have a level of like reverence for them.
That's where I am.
And especially if that's the thing you love to do as well. So you
Exactly.
appreciate it most,
Yeah.
even more than just like casual like readers.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So that's been major. What's happening with you guys?
amazing.
Guys, I finished mid school.
The good doctor. The good
Finally.
doctor.
Guys, 10 years. of university finally came to an end in 2018. It was a great, wonderful, wonderful day. So this year has been kind of getting used to being a doctor and like actually being a doctor, you know.
Well done.
And what that comes with. And I thank God for being paid. There are pleasures.
I mean, you are looking like you're getting paid. The stress.
Wow.
The stress.
So yeah, it's been wonderful. So that's been like, so even now, I was on call yesterday, so finished call this morning and then you sleep. So they give you the day off and then you come back to work. So I'm a little bit like, you know, but I'm excited to talk to you guys and see you again. So that's been happening.
And do you feel like, sorry to interject, but do you feel like the feeling gets normal day by day, or is it like still every day like, oh snap, I'm walking into the hospital with my scrubs? Or
some days I'm just like, oh, we've got clinic today, it's a long day. But then some days you're like, wow. So some of the things I'm noticing is like I'm trying to pick up good habits.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to believe patients. You know?
What does that mean? You guys don't
I didn't know what happened.
I didn't drink that thing. And you're like, you did. So I'm trying to believe patients, I'm trying to be positive, I'm trying to not pick up all the things that other people have grievances of with medicine. Grievances about. I'm also making friends, which is interesting because you know, kind of like you notice also there's like a competitive edge, and I'm not into that. You know, it's like everyone in your own lane. We've all made it to this point, and a lot of people have aspirations to like specialize now and do this, and I'm not really there, so I'm not forcing that conversation either. So I'm just really enjoying the time. Hey, it's less of what, like, you kind of like imagine, wow, I'm gonna be doctor, because they scare you in school, when you're gonna be alone and you're gonna be doing this. It's less of that and more like you supported, you can think, they ask you, what do you think, and you kind of find yourself like filling this role a little bit better each day. So that's great.
Do you have more news, bro? Because it was like you're mid-sentence, so I'm like,
guys, listen here.
This whole minute.
God is good, man. And the pleasures of walking with Him are not just in heaven, also here on earth. So anyways, I'm getting married. And this year, September, you guys are invited, so someone who's gonna have to record some
pieces of this.
So that's super exciting. It's lots of planning, lots of busyness, but like, guys, I'm happy. I'm just a happy girl. I'm relaxed.
I love your ownership of it. Relaxed.
Relaxed.
At my best.
No nervous energy. I'm just
take it.
There's a lot of mental work I didn't anticipate.
Okay.
A lot of mental work into like breaking down the role, thinking about what I really expect from the thing. If those expectations are not met, there's no way out. You know what I mean? You kind of have to. It's like there's a lot of. What will you do? How will you adjust? How open are you in the journey now, such that all of those things can be seen, like all of you can be seen now, and that it gives that person an opportunity to really, you know what I mean? And it's like negotiating that within yourself.
Hey, this is an episode in and of itself.
I feel like she like get ready with me by herself and just like
it's good.
Maybe. So there's a lot of
those
like
reflections are important. It's so good.
It's hectic.
Right. If there's anybody else who's watching who is getting married or who has recently gotten married, if you have anything to say, please share.
No, how is it? How was the planning? How was like the personal moments for yourself when you have to journal your thoughts and.
Or topic suggestions.
Or topic suggestions that
incredible.
are targeted specifically on this subject.
Yeah.
Stick around!
And how's
the shop?
Hi guys, I'm well. So this year's been quite interesting. I mean, I did say to them, I was like, guys, I'll just listen to you today. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, there have been good news here. Wait, so my friend and I, Matabo, we have a children's book that's coming out and it's being translated into 7 different languages, South African languages, which is really exciting.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool because it's a project that I think we both really are passionate about. I'll let you guys know when it does come out. The rest of the year, oh my god.
Your back is getting stuck. Back is stiffening up.
It's just stretching.
You know what? So in a good way, actually, in a good way. I think it's been for me, I went in working straight in. I had a massive deadline for February, so my whole life was kind of just like targeted around that. All of my energies and my strength, and like, so I think it's just been like emotional labor again. 2019. This is so you guys can realize that not all of us are in like a high, so it doesn't seem like Trans Chat is just like this, like, you know. So I mean, it's been an interesting journey, but I do think right now I'm at a place where that I haven't been in a very long time, where I'm like, okay, what do you really want?
Yeah.
And I think because of the way the structure of a PhD, it incubates your ambitions in a lot of ways. Like, it's like it's the thing you have to do, and you put all of your energy into it. And I think the place that I'm at right now, for the first time in a very long time, I'm like, what are you really passionate about? What is your why? Where are you going? And it's interesting, I've had to almost be more human with myself as well. I was chatting to my partner the other day, and I was saying, I don't know, I just feel like I have no ambition. I was just having this like, it was just a thinking process. I was trying to figure out like, what do you really want? And because I felt unclear about that in that moment, and he was just like, stop, like, just live, like, you take each day as it is. And it really, I think, just like lessening those like expectations of myself that I have, and like the pressure or whatever idea I have of what I should be doing, was really, really healthy. But overall, I am in a good place right now. I think I'm in a healthy place, actually. Yeah, that's about it. I got to see my family last week, which was incredible, because I hadn't seen them the entire, well, I didn't go home in December. So that's where I am, but overall, I think healthy. I think I'm healthy, yeah.
Guys, I signed up to the gym today.
Oh! Yeah!
Look at the girl is doing everything right.
Look at the girl.
But not to move past your point.
No.
Not to move past your point too quickly. But
No, I haven't done no. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I was just like,
It's exciting.
because I realized in my student life, I was doing a lot of things at once and balancing them fairly well, I'd say. But then I got used to having myself not fractured, but like dedicated to a lot of different things. And then now this year, I'm like pouring myself into internship and wedding planning, sure, but like that's my main thing. And I started to feel a little bit like, yo, girl, what else? Like a little bit idle. And then I had to think about what actually energizes me, what gives me joy, what do I associate with, like, that's when I'm happy. And then I realized, like, working out, I'm not a girl who works out all the time. But when I do, and I do it religiously, consistently, then I'm like, wow, I think, you know, I want to be happy, I'm talking about everything. So anyways, then I was telling my fiance the other time, but listen.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, girl. Okay.
I dropped the F word, yes. I was telling him, and like, oh my word, because it was my birthday the other day. So we went to the venue, and so there I was just kind of like discussing the things that I'm going through and I'm feeling. And he's like, so then I'll hold you accountable, join a gym, do it. And then my considerations were like, I want to join a gym that is close to work and that's against traffic, so that I don't have deterrents. I don't have to like leave work and be like, whoa,
it's already a deterrent in itself.
So then now I found this gym, it's like a boot camp kind of gym. And guys, already they've taken my measurements. This is day one. Taken my measurements, they've taken my weight, they've given me an app. I have to take a photo of everything I eat.
Wow.
They've told me what I have to cut out. And then also the thing is the instructor, he holds you accountable. So if you have to come at least 3 times a week, if you don't come, get an SMS. Like, so I'm just saying, like, I needed to go with the maximum supervision. And then now, anyways, that's just on the side.
I think having a gym partner, earlier this year, I've had a gym partner, and it was just bone crush. It was too much at the time. Like, I think I was just going through other stresses to be working out that much. But it's incredible having somebody that actually you work out with. It changes the entire game of your workout. So if you are looking to become more healthy this year, that's definitely something to think about.
I mean, I'm back at Virgin Active. Back at Virgin Active, at least 3 to 4 days a week.
Wow.
But what helped me, which is very fascinating, is a conversation I had with my manager, and he gave me, I told you this, some of the best advice in my life. But what he was saying, which I found just sensational, is that self-love in our generation, I think it might be, but he was saying that self-love in our generation, we often focus on doing things to make yourself feel nice. And he was like, Sharon, but you don't understand, self-love is creating the hard structures around you that make you better. So if gym makes you better, it's actually self-sabotage not to go to gym.
Wow.
Because you're not allowing yourself to operate at the most efficient level that you can. Changed my life.
Wow.
I'm on the treadmill saying I love myself. I love myself. So that's been cool. But it literally, I feel like I can think better. I feel happier. And I think for me, what I'd forgotten is a lot of my childhood was working out. So running for athletics, playing hockey. So it is like a fond place for me because it's always been. And I think I forgot that. And now, I mean, I feel like that thing is changing my life. Go to gym stressed with work stress. You don't have the answer, but you're just like, alright,
It's gonna work tomorrow.
Exactly. So that's been really cool. I was sharing with these guys on WhatsApp this question that I tend to ask people I look up to because I think it makes for an interesting conversation, but it also makes the person think in a different way about their life, in the different areas of their life.
Yeah.
And basically the question is, what big questions is life asking you in the different aspects of your life? Weirdly enough, I was listening to a talk by the writer of Homegoing, who I'm obsessed with at the moment.
Who's sensational.
But someone was asking her in an interview, what's the big question on your screen at the moment? And I think I just have a fascination with this idea of questions and not necessarily having the answer to these things, but what are the things that you're almost grappling with? So yeah,
Maybe you can start.
That's the question I want to ask you guys. So I mean, one of the most obvious things for me, throw back to that episode on Jesus in your 20s or God in your 20s as a prefix to
And the one we never posted, thank God.
exactly going through the most.
That's not a video post.
There's a video where
that
he's
is
like,
dark.
are you guys sure about us posting the video? We're like, well.
That one is dark, man. That thing is real. But I think, so coming it's good to be back.
Yeah,
It's actually really
nice.
nice. But as context, so a lot of last year was grappling with the concept of God and Christianity and the church and all these ideas. And I think one of the big questions that actually Lusanda inspired, shout out to you, but it's a question I'm asking very internally and less externally, but how do I create a believable hope internally and a believable faith internally in God? So how do I work that out for me and figure out what it means and just do the internal work and be honest with myself and with actually doing the work. So literally reading the scriptures, reading supplementary materials and wrestling with ideas of who Jesus is and how to live it in a response to that, and how to deal with hard things like pain and suffering and all these things. So a big question for me this year is, how do I live a believable hope? And not even externally, just internally. How do I interact with people like I believe in the God in them and God's love for them? How do I treat my job as though I work unto Christ? So very practically, I'm trying to think of practical ways to live Christianity. So things like work as though unto the Lord, very straightforward. There's no ambiguity there. You know what I mean?
Wait.
If you really look at it, work as though unto the
Teach
Lord.
as though unto the I'll say indulge busy for myself.
Your body is the temple of God. McDonald's. So simple things around love people. How do I do that? Be generous. Give a part of my salary to something I say I believe in and something that I feel God's given me the heart for. Do it. So I'm trying to do a lot of the practical things and trusting that brings my heart closer to a believable hope.
Can I say something on that?
Yeah.
My fiance sometimes says, sometimes do.
Sorry.
Are we both?
As you viewers are, we are all.
For a minute, you're using his name. Brain short sense for a minute.
I don't want to use his name.
A believable statement. Sorry.
My fiance.
Yeah.
What? No, I forgot the point.
Your fiance sometimes says
It's on the whole practical steps. Do
No, yeah. So
before.
he sometimes says, sometimes do. Let's say you have an argument with a friend or with someone that you love or your mom or whatever. Do the love act, and your heart tends to follow.
Yeah.
Right. So something like what you're saying. So now sometimes maybe do the act. Like don't obviously not like superficially, but do the act. And sometimes like through doing it and regularly telling your mind like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Actually you find sometimes your emotions follow and you actually see that person in different, like actually,
I like it.
especially when they respond.
Yeah.
You know, the same way that when you do some of these acts, I think sometimes we wait for this full conviction and our hearts to be like here before we do the thing.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes just do it.
Yeah.
And then everything else can also follow.
That's good.
Anyways.
What is life asking you, sis?
What's life asking me? Life is asking me around mediocrity.
Sure.
It's asking me some questions. So one of the things we have to do for internship is you have a logbook where you have to have 10 C's, like C-section, you know, cut a baby out, 10 of them, blah blah blah. But now because of the hospital I work at, we can't always do the full thing. But they can sign you off for doing a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you need 10, and if you've done a part of it, they sign it off, whatever. So then it comes to the point where you're like, even if I don't really do one from top to end, I still get the signature. But then you hear other people who are doing it and like pushing in theatre, like please can I do it, please can I do it. And then part of me is like, I don't really have to. So if I can get signed off for not really doing it, then I'm stuck with this like, but that's such a mediocre way of viewing this thing. If you can be skillful and can be excellent and really can like apply yourself, why not? Why settle for the easier route, right?
Yeah, that's good.
And that's like charming me because I'm like, it is possible. Other people are also able to think outside of this, like, well, we can just get the signature to, I want to have the skill. And that's what I do sometimes when I'm sitting there, I'm like, the skill is what I need, you know? So life has asked me around mediocrity quite a bit. And that obviously bleeds into the whole thing about like lifestyle and the gym and everything else. I've also been wondering around like...
Sure, that's deep.
It is.
It's very deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Just to latch on there before you go into the next point, because in connection to that, the thing I've been thinking about a lot is like just the question of, and weirdly it's just literally the question of, what if you went all in into everything? Then what? Into the way you love people, into the way you do your work, into the way you pursue your dreams. But what if, because I think we often live holding back just a little reserves. So in every interaction you're sort of measured, and the way we do things, there is a habit of, let me be measured, I need energy for later, why must I write this email 150% if I could? But what if you just tried to go a lot more all in everything you did? Yeah.
I agree. It's hard because you are always thinking, it's not necessary. I don't have to. No one's gonna die. Well, in my case, someone might die. And also, I was saying to the other day, like, because in med school I wrote exams every 4 weeks. Like every 4 weeks. So I have a chance to always have faith. Like there's always something testing my faith. There's always something asking me like, how do you know God? Like, what's your track record with Him? How has He been showing you? Like, there's been constant interfacing with God's goodness. And now, it's kind of like, now I've arrived. And I'm not really needing hectic things every 4 weeks. I'm kind of like moving from one thing to another. And then this interaction with this doctor, I didn't like that. Like, there's nothing that's really pressing me. And I'm scared of like falling into the place of the one day after the next, not reaching out to other people, not really speaking to this person, not doing this, not doing those things anymore that used to energize me. Because I'm not leading worship anymore as well.
I didn't know that.
Because I can't commit to leading a team. Because my schedule, I work on Sundays, I work on this. So now if I'm not leading worship, if my part of what and who I was leading worship, and you know, now where does that leave me in terms of what I understand about myself?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So there's like so many areas that have now like changed. So we went to visit my aunt the other day, and Magas was like, Nana, she's wonderful. She's like, Nana, there are seasons in life. You need to understand the one you're in and not lament the previous ones.
Some of the best advice.
You know, she's like, understand the one that you're in. God has brought you here. He knew what He was doing by pushing you into the things that you were doing in the last season. But now you're here. Now work out this one.
And I think that, don't you think that is sometimes the issue with restlessness? Because the presumption is that you know a version of yourself and you want to hold on to it and you've defined yourself. And I was actually thinking about it. Sometimes when you think about like the fear of change, we always talk about like old people being afraid of technology, etc. But sometimes the fear of change is you not being able to accept this part of yourself, right? Like this expression of like, this is what it looks like now, and you're like, no, but the last days were better. But that it is fear of change, where it's like the stage of your life is unfolding in this way, and this is part of your new identity. Stop fearing this change, right? Like, and taking it as it is. Like, so that's something I was thinking about actually the other day, coming back from the gym.
I
saw my family last week and they were like, oh, we like your more plump self. It's funny because I hadn't determined yet whether I gained weight or not, but I was like, clearly, don't lose, stay like this, I can.
What's up with you? What's life been asking you?
What's life? So there's two parts for me. It's funny because I think every time someone speaks, you think about something. But Toni Morrison has this new book called, the title is The Art of Self-Regard. Well, somewhere in the line there's this line there that says Art of Self-Regard. And I'm currently reading Sisonke Msibang's book, Always Another Country. Oh my god, spectacular book, right? Spectacular. Spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And I think for me, a big thing from last year and here has been big questions around worth, like self-regard, like when you think about what you're capable of doing, or when it's tested in a place, what you think you can do, and if you still back yourself up in the same way that you would think when you're just dreaming about stuff, right? Like, but less now as self-regard, I'm worthy in myself, whatever, but thinking about it in terms of there's a full blessing of God over your life and your identity and your destiny. And if God says you are mine, there's a line in Sisonke Msibang's book where she says her dad hugged her and just kept saying you're mine, you're mine, you're mine, when her sense of identity had been ruptured by something else. So if God has fully given you that blessing over your life, that is the primary, that's the center of your whole being, right? Like, and I'm always speaking about things like balance, my skin is red, blah, blah, blah. Like if that, the centrality of it is the fact that you have the full blessing of God, that means everything that is destined for your life, it is yours. That's a full blessing over your life. And so regarding yourself under that light and that depth and that
it could
strength,
be revolutionary,
right?
This is how I
could be revolutionary.
Someone sent me a message yesterday saying God says sing a joyful noise. Well, how does that thing go?
Sing a joyful song unto the Lord.
Make a joyful noise. And I felt it because it was like, if you regard yourself in the full blessing of what God has for your life, like, don't be anxious about tomorrow, what you shall eat, what you shall drink, because He's fully secured all of that. And I think that's like the current message in my heart, because every time I listen to these songs that are very like fatherly and God like claiming over you, there's just something in my heart, you know, like good father, like once it plays, you're just like, that's true, you're good, right? Like, and so living out in that blessing has just been something in my heart that's like, you need to take it in. Like, you can't see it, you don't know it, like take it in, it's yours too. So that's me, that art of self-regard in God and His claim over me. Yeah.
Hey, and you said I'm just gonna listen.
I'm just here to listen.
Yeah, so that's that for me. Yeah.
What do you think I mean on the change thing and on both those points? Hey, English. Words are just gone.
We are Titi. Sharon is currently having a groupie moment.
But I mean on change, because it's weird, I've been thinking about that and I agree with you. And I read The Power of Now, which isn't theologically sound, but anyway. But and a part of what he says in that book is like, when you don't accept this moment, you're almost robbing yourself by existing in the past and almost grieving this idea of a past, or almost being too stuck in this hope of this future instead of living in the now and accepting what's before you and what's given to you in this moment. So he almost argues that you can't even access entirely the blessing that's right here, because I'm partially, there's this thread in my mind all the time lamenting, but that week was better when we were friends that way, or in the future.
The danger of it as well is that you're living under the expectations of a past,
which isn't
and
real.
you're experiencing something that is not real to your current life, right? Like, so it's like, that thing of like, we should be friends in that way. Yeah. You are seeking out something, so you are experiencing a guilt of some sort in the present, and it's like, that's not what this present is about. That's like, just live your life right now. This is where you are. This is where you're at. It's funny, I was saying to my partner, I started playing to guys. We saw someone yesterday, and I was trying to say hi, and he was driving down, but then the president's here, and I was like, oh, it would be nice to say hi, and he's like, you don't always need to say hi. I'm like, no, we should say hi. We really should say hi, and I'm like, especially because we don't see them. So he's like, often. So I'm like, especially because we don't see them often. And he's like, well, if we needed to see them often, we'd probably see them often. But like the people you do see often, you do see. It's like, I guess in that present moment,
The bro.
that's his take on it. But I guess the thing is more of like, if I now have guilt of like, I should see them often. It's like, oh, you.
And it's
but you didn't.
taking away.
And your life doesn't require that right now.
Interesting. These sessions always get me like super away. Like I'm like, it's like I've journaled.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Hello guys, what is life asking you?
Yeah.
What are the big questions that life is asking you? I think the one thing that I appreciate about this channel is that it doesn't force, but it fosters self-awareness.
It does.
So amongst us, but also with you, we've noticed in the comments and everything, people being like, wow, I never thought about this. Oh, now I'm more aware of this and that. And I think that one of your biggest safety mechanisms is self-awareness. Because it will guard you, it will make you aware when you're burning out, it will make you aware when you're stretching yourself, when you are a bit blasé, make you aware when you're harsh with people. Like self-awareness, aware of where you are and what you do and how you are actually interacting with people in the spaces around you. So I think, wow, I'm talking a lot this episode, hey? I got a lot. So yeah, so
Signing out to our rapper, signing out from Dr. SK and Vinyana. A fiance. Sign out.
So anyways, yes guys, we'd love to hear how it's been for you guys. We've missed you so much.
And we want the interaction, regardless from all ages or anywhere that you are in your own life. I think there's so much lessons and insight that everybody can gain from your experience being shared.
And like, oh yeah, sorry.
Now I was just gonna say, so please comment with actually questions that life's asking you and reflections on that, and just reflections on Q1 and how you're doing.
Q1 is quarter one.
As we are still trying to re-establish a schedule. We're likely going to be posting every second week as opposed to every week until we are in the rhythm of things. Oh yeah, send the topic suggestions.
Hold on, guys.
Fiance.
Nangu fiance.
Sorry guys.